Thanks for coming round. We'll make you laugh before you go. Welcome to the Mermen. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good job.
That wasn't a good one today.
I'm not gonna do it every day.
Yeah, I know.
I did the first one of the year.
I appreciate
I'll do
that.
the next episode.
What? Who were you just talking to before we started?
I was talking to the person that cleans the house, the Airbnb that I run. Why? What's so funny?
Oh, because like for half the conversation, I thought you were talking to the housekeeper at your place here, and I was like, why are you? Like, you have like a small place here that you just live at.
Oh, yeah,
yourself.
I just
and I'm
rent a
like,
place there.
Why does Forrest have such an in-depth cleaning at his place here?
Oh no, it's the Airbnb.
Yeah, I didn't
They're
realize
awesome.
that.
Yeah, they're the best. Yeah, if you're in the Davenport, Orlando area,
I was
I
like,
recommend them.
Forrest is going to be home in an hour. Why is this guy like having a 20-minute conversation with him?
No, because they're
I
like,
thought you have like, I'm like, how gross is Forrest that he's got a crew of people coming into his one-bedroom apartment in LA to clean it.
oh yeah, no. I have hey, if anybody needs an Airbnb in
the
Davenport,
Orlando
area, if you're going to Disney World, hit me up.
I was thinking about you because I just stayed in an Airbnb in Orlando. I couldn't rent yours because it was already rented one.
Mine's dope. These guys are the best. Group wing cleaners.
Hey,
Highly
shout out.
recommend them.
We never even give Comedy Records, who funds our podcast, a shout out.
Comedy Records.
But hey, if you need a cleaner, if you need
You gotta pay him. You gotta pay him.
need a bro who
But
calls
also-
you up during podcasts and fills you in on how your place is looking.
If you need a record with comedy on it, also check out Comedy Records.
Comedy Records,
They
the best records with comedy. in
not
the
just
business.
comedy. They did a Christmas release. It's past Christmas now. Did you see that?
with Doja Cat.
No, not with Doja Cat.
SZA?
It was man, I'm gonna forget his name, but he's one of the announcers for the Toronto Raptors.
Okay. Drake.
No, but they had a clip of Drake on the sideline talking to him because he's one of the announcers and he knows him, and he said like, "Hey, he has a Christmas song album that just came out," and Drake's like, "Oh, cool, whatever," and it's like they have a clip, but.
Jack Armstrong?
Jack Armstrong. You just looked it up. There you go. Thanks, Luis. Yeah, they did a Christmas album. There you go. Comedy Records. There's
Is that airplanes going overhead?
yeah, we're near the airport, but I've never heard of
No, that's loud, dude. Someone got diverted.
What happened?
That happens in my house because I live really close to the airport sometimes. And then the second it happens, everyone goes on Facebook, the parent network in my neighborhood, and they're like, whoa, that plane was a low one. Oh, where's the phone number to call and complain? And I go, you live by the airport. Just get used to it. It's going to happen from time to time.
Oh, the neighborhood app?
Yeah.
Yeah, in my old neighborhood where I used to live, the house I used to have, fireworks constantly being shot off, like all the time. And so someone inevitably would be like, gunshots? Did you hear gunshots? And everyone's like, shut up, it's fireworks. Shut up. And then until someone got murdered in front of my house. But that was actual gunshots.
You know, I got my pilot's license, right?
What?
When I was in college, I got my pilot's license. And then
To fly what?
airplanes.
What do you mean to fly airplanes?
I decided I wanted to take flight lessons when I was in college.
How many hours did you do?
I think it takes technically 40 minum to get your.
You got like a jank.
Took me like 80.
You got like a jank pilot's license.
No, I got a legit pilot's license.
I don't think I'll go up in a plane with you.
That's what my wife says.
When's the last time you flew a plane?
Oh, my early 20s.
Yeah, you can't. The only thing you would be like in like a movie script or something where they'd be like, look, I flew a plane. I have 80 hours in a simulator back in my 20s. Did you actually fly a real plane?
Yeah.
Like a Cessna? Like one of those?
Yeah, the reason why I was thinking about it is because one time when I did my cross-country solo, so that's, you do solos up and around the airport.
What do you mean cross country?
I'm about to tell you. So you go like,
What?
you go like fly around the airport and stuff to do your solos. But then before you get your pilot's license, you have to do a cross country solo, which means you have to go land in 2 other airports before you come back. There's got to be a certain mileage.
But not across the whole country.
No.
Just
No,
they
no, no.
call it that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
You're
yeah.
just going to like. So you did yours in Alabama.
No, so I started my pilot's license in Alabama, and I had a few hours to go when I graduated college. So I finished it up at Tamiami Airport in Miami.
Yeah.
And so that's where I did my cross country. So I went from Tamiami Airport in Miami over to Naples. I landed and refueled. And then I flew
Naples,
up,
Florida.
Yeah, and then I flew up to Central Florida, somewhere like
I think Italy. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Naples, Florida. Apopka, middle of nowhere in the middle of Everglades.
Edger and James, running backs from there.
Good call.
Yeah.
And then I flew from there back down to Miami. So it was one of the coolest experiences of my life where
By yourself, you did
by
that.
myself, yeah.
What the fuck? How did I never know this about you?
I don't know. I didn't know that you had an abortion. So we're learning a lot about ourselves in this podcast.
Wait, did we talk about that?
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
I don't remember even talking about that.
Me neither, which is why I like looked up. I'm like, I'm cutting this, right?
Is that an episode?
Did you cut it out?
I just don't remember us talking about it.
Okay, well, let's look into that.
Actually, no, I do remember. It rings a bell.
So when we were in the hotel rooms, we spent the whole episode just bullshitting, and then as we're wrapping up, you're like, I paid for an abortion once. And I was like, what?
People probably didn't listen to the end. Yeah, I'll go back and listen to that bonus.
So I'm flying down. I'm on the third leg of
I didn't
the.
say I paid for it.
I assumed.
Said
You're
I
a
got
gentleman.
one. I had one.
All right. I assume you at least paid 50%.
Yeah. Which, by the way, look. Okay, I was gonna go on an abortion.
Yeah, let's
sidebar.
wrap this one up first. That's a real dismissal from the topic we're on. All right.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm flying down the East Coast, heading back to Miami. I got to get back before the sun sets because I'm not VFR, which means you can only fly during daylight hours. And the sun's kind of setting off over the Everglades, so the sky's all lit up. I'm gonna make it back before my window of time. I tuned the radio into country music because you could pick up radio signals on the comms radio, and I got everything on chill. I'm cruising back. I'm so proud of myself. I'm having this moment where I'm like, "This is awesome. I did it. I'm gonna be a pilot. Like, this is so cool." Just one of those moments.
What did you think you were gonna do? Fly commercially or something?
No, I just thought no. Just doing it for a hobby. My dad's always had a recreational license to fly us around and stuff, and it's just something I wanted to do.
A hobby. You know what most people's hobbies are? Like,
well, I get it, but I grew up well off.
yeah, people got that.
I had 2 jet skis, Forrest.
Most people's hobbies are like, I'm going to take up like, scrapbooking.
Oh, I did that too.
Or I'm going to learn how to build those little boats in a bottle.
So I land at Miami Airport. I'm all proud of myself. I'm tying the plane up, and not my instructor, but the owner of the flight school comes running out, and I'm like, it's coming out to congratulate me. And he goes, what happened? And I go, it was awesome. I nailed it. And he goes, no, man, what happened? And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I got phone calls from Miami International Airport. They said that you were flying through their airspace and they had to divert jets everywhere.
Oh, you flew like right over the airport?
I must have gone right through their takeoff space.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I told him that your squawk box must be messed up and that they must be getting a false reading because there's no way you would go.
Did you say you were listening like music?
Yeah.
Oh, so you turned off the radio and you put on some like.
Nah, I just probably wasn't.
Pearl Jam?
I probably just wasn't paying attention that I had to adjust my altitude going through that airspace because you can go under it or over it, but you can't go through it. You know,
you can go over the center.
Yeah,
I know that from flying in helicopters, counting manatees.
Yeah.
I didn't fly them. Yeah, but I was in the seat.
Yeah, airspace.
We would go over the center of it because the airplanes aren't flying there. You know?
Exactly. Airspace usually
we still have to get permission though, and these were cops we were flying with. They still were like, it was like a whole thing. I remember like how much time it took. He's like, we got to get permission. And we'd circle. They talk and they're like, all right, we're clear.
Yeah,
and you were just like. Just
cruising through it, bro. They're diverting. They're probably trying to contact like
they've got the Department of
November
Defense
479 or Juliet, like and I'm just like,
attack. We have a terrorist attack going on.
I'm just up there like way down yonder in the Chattahoochee. Way to go, Dave! I did it. So the guy's like, I just told him that your comms must be messed up. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. I go, no way that I went through their airspace. You need to get this checked. So I messed up.
And they still passed you?
Yeah, I mean, I did it.
Yeah, I mean, no big deal. You just fucked up the entire Miami International Airport.
Dude, my first solo where you just go up and come back down, you could qualify it as a crash because it was aggressive. I was still up at Auburn at the time, so that's a little bit of a less stressful scenario because there's not a
because they're like, what's an airplane?
No,
there's
just not as much
that thing.
There's just not as much traffic, like there's not as much communication. You don't have to have like direction from and permission from the tower. Everything you do, you just have to say it so that if anyone's within earshot, they go, better keep my head on the swivel. There's someone else at this altitude or whatever, right?
Yep. What's up? Yep.
So
that's how they talk on there.
You're
Hey, what's going on there? Got a plane going, man. It's like that's the difference, right?
yeah, it's all crop dusters.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
Coming in from the south, gonna.
Yeah, I'm just checking to see what the score is in the game.
Well, game day weekends, the airport will get real busy because all the rich people will fly in
All
and
the
park their
fancy folk
planes.
coming
Yeah.
in there, see Alabama and Auburn.
Yeah. So you're supposed to be. It's 8 hours bottle to throttle. So you can't have any alcohol 8 hours before you're supposed
Bottle
to.
to throttle.
Yeah, because if you take off when you're up at altitude, your the alcohol in your bloodstream actually I don't know what the terminology would be for
Because
it,
of the pressure.
Yeah, you could feel
so, yeah.
sober. You could feel sober at ground level and then go up to altitude and you
The
feel drunk
atmospheric
again.
pressure concentrates the alcohol more. in the
Exactly.
bloodstream, yeah.
So I'm sure
I'm
that
glad that I know this. I don't even have a fucking pilot's license, and I'm just telling you. Bottle the throttle.
I'm sure you've seen a movie.
No, it's scuba diving. It's still atmospheric
Same
pressure.
shit. Yeah.
So, but
So I'm sure that I pushed the limits of that law many times in college, and
they still gave me a license.
yeah, I mean I did a good job, Forrest.
Or it doesn't sound like it. You crashed almost, and then you fucked up a major international airport.
Listen, learning a new skill is not about being perfect, Forrest. It's about making mistakes, learning from them, and actually being a better pilot and or whatever you're trying to do because of it. So,
If both pilots died on a commercial airline,
it's such a fantasy of mine.
and there was like, does anyone have any flying experience?
Oh, dude, the guys,
You would hop up and be like, yeah, I got this.
I'd be like, I'm your best bet.
And then you'd get into the cockpit of a 777, and you'd be like, oof, what's all this shit?
It'd be so cool. I'd be
What
like,
are these buttons?
I'd be like, you guys are gonna have to walk me through this.
You're like, don't worry, you don't even need to fucking get clearance for anything. Just keep going.
Yeah, I guess. What's your local radio station that picks up country music?
Those things fly themselves.
I'm like Chappie in what was the movie Iron Eagle or something where he puts the rock and roll in the Walkman, the kid does, and then he can fly an F-15.
Iron Eagle, yeah, with
that
Louis Gossett Jr.
Yeah, that's a good pilot movie.
That's very realistic. That was in the time
Flight of the
movies.
Navigator.
Yeah. When they had just movies where kids could do stuff. They were
Yeah.
like, what if a kid was an outfielder for the Chicago Cubs? And you're like, all right, let's make that movie. Then
I like how the end of Iron Eagle, if I remember right, the kid puts a cassette tape
he does.
in the thing,
Yep.
and he goes, "Hey kid, if you listen to this, that means I didn't make it. But I just wanted to give you a motivational speech on the way out, just in case everything lines up perfectly to where this all makes sense."
Yeah.
And it did.
Yeah, and you have a Walkman
Yeah.
in this F-18 fighter.
So I go to do my first. I show up one morning and I'm pretty hungover, and my flight instructor, who was also my wife's lacrosse coach, he says, he goes, "Hey, I think you're ready for your first solo today." And I was like,
Either that or I can teach you how to play goalie. One of the two, whatever you want to do.
or at the same time, we could do both skills. So he's like, I'm like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, man, you're ready for it." And I go, "Okay, if you think so." So I get in the airplane. He goes, "Don't worry, dude. You're going to be fine. I got this walkie-talkie so I can talk to you. It's going to be like I'm right there next to you." And I'm like, "All right, but if I crash this thing, it's just me in it."
This is the thing about flying. It seems very, I mean, it's dangerous to just do it. But anyone that, like, anytime anyone is like, these instructors, they're always like, don't worry about it. It's a fucking plane. Just get it up there and just fucking fly it down.
Well, the Cessnas are very simple. It's like they do treat it like riding a bike. It's like second nature to them. But you got to remember, like, there's no like margin for error. It's not like golf where you can not play golf for 2 years and go out and just be rusty and then be like, "Oh yeah, I need to play a lot to
Oh,
be
wait,
good at
do
golf."
you mean it's not like golf, whereas if you hit a bad shot, you don't die?
Exactly.
I think that's what you meant to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, a mistake's a lot more costly flying an airplane, and it's
Not
an
like golf.
expensive hobby.
It's not like golf where you're just up in the sky. In the grounds.
So I was like, "All right, man, let's do it." So I take off, right? And I go up in the pattern and I go around, and all you're doing is a loop and you're coming back to land. That's it, right? And he's talking me through it the whole way. He's going, "Hey, you're doing great. All right, you're hey, nice turn downwind. All right, you're doing great."
Hey, that's offsides.
So now,
Hey, ref.
yellow card.
You're busting my balls.
So I turn for my final approach.
He's just like watching you with a walkie-talkie?
Yeah, he's watching me from the ground.
Hmm.
So I'm coming in for my final approach, and The thing that I think he probably should have told me that he didn't is that in those little Cessnas, when you take a 200-pound man out of the passenger seat, the plane feels a lot different when you're slowing down and coming in for a final approach, right? It doesn't feel that different when you're up in the air, but when you're coming down, you're slowing down. It's a lot more responsive. It's different. So I'm coming in and I'm nervous, and I'm coming in like shy of the runway, like I'm gonna hit the grass, right? So I freak out a little bit and I give it some throttle. So now that makes me carry a little bit.
Throttle to bottle.
So now I'm
Bottle throttle.
now I'm coming a little too aggressively down the runway.
You're drunk, right?
No, I wasn't drunk.
From the night before.
Well, I was that actually. I think I mixed two stories. I got a different story about that.
Okay, sure.
So I'm coming down the runway, and I'm thinking I got to get this fucking airplane down. It's like gliding too far down the runway. So I overreact and I just push the yoke down and like kind of nosedive. And I just thought it was gonna maybe be a rough landing, but at least I was on the ground. Well, I hit the ground.
Whose plane is this?
The universities.
University of Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn University.
They have a plane you can fly.
They have a flight school. So
Oh, okay. I didn't get. I that's what. Okay, I got it now. That lacrosse coach. And yeah, sure.
So I hit the ground.
Yeah.
And I bounce. So I hit the ground, and the airplane goes higher than it was. And now I freak out, and I push the nose down again, and I bounce again.
What's he saying?
He's going, "Oh boy,
Doing a great job."
yeah." I tell this story on my album on which one did I do it on? Trying My Hardest. I tell this story.
By the way, you can see that I've listened to your albums.
Yeah,
like
right.
You've flown before. Yeah. Buy Dave's albums, not on Comedy Records.
And so then I finally I'm too far down the runway and I'm still bouncing, and he goes, "You should go around," and I go, "I'm gonna go around," and I
Does that mean take off again?
Yeah, you just take off again. So I throw the throttle in and I go to take off again, and I don't know why. I don't know if I like hit a pedal or the wind blew or what, but the airplane kind of Tokyo drifted sideways, and I buzzed him and the crowd of people that had now gathered from inside to come out and see what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And I buzzed the
And he's thinking like, wow, I can't believe I told this guy to solo.
I buzzed the airport,
It's not ready.
and then he left his finger on the trigger, and I hear him go, "Oh fuck." And that made me laugh so hard. I was like, "Oh man, I really rattled." And this is the kind of guy who never gets rattled. He's just always like, "Hey, you're gonna do great. Nah, everything's fine." And to hear him go, "Oh fuck," I was like, "All right, I can't do any worse now." And that made me actually relax. And I went around and I nailed it on the second time. But
And in there like you're never getting in that plane again.
I started mysteriously getting my lessons canceled due to like maintenance issues or whatever.
They were canceling them.
Well, I didn't finish it at Auburn because it was like every time I wanted to go get my lesson, they were like,
But
"Oh."
they were canceling them.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, fucking Williamson's governor.
No, the time I showed up hungover, where I was like, what's the big deal? It's not like I'm flying by myself. I'm with an instructor. It was the day they decided to do stalls. Stalls is where they purposely
Yeah, I got it.
make you like,
I know what it is.
yeah. they like pull the yoke up so the airplane takes off too steep.
Yeah.
And then it like loses its flight and it starts to fall, and you got to recover. Things like that, right?
And what happens if it doesn't recover?
I mean, you can recover if you know what you're doing. And then
Well, you don't seem like you knew what you were doing.
well, I didn't
according to
I didn't do
stories.
that solo. I did
You
that with
haven't
an
told
instructor.
one story of anything good so far. So what? Oh, so there's someone else in the plane.
Yeah, it's with
recover
your
for it.
so they would they'd do it and you'd have to recover, and if you didn't recover, they'd save you. You know.
There's got to be crashes.
The lady who did my check.
I mean, the guy that crashed with Kobe Bryant, that guy was super good pilot, you know. But they always say that too with flying, that the most dangerous pilots are the
Hubris.
the new ones, and the
Really experienced
really
ones who can
experienced
think.
ones.
Yep.
Yeah. That you got to be somewhere in the middle.
My father's had two very close friends die in plane crashes that they were flying the plane, and both instances were they just made
They're too confident.
they were like, "Oh, I know this weather's coming in, but I think I can get up over it," and they didn't. You know,
It's
things
always,
like that.
Always weather.
One
Small planes.
one was the aforementioned Dr. Rigetti, who we've talked about on this podcast a lot. Was flying a Russian MiG that he owned.
What?
Pretty cool. He owned a Russian MiG that he would take to air shows.
How are you allowed to fly a Russian MiG?
You got to be badass.
Tom
like
Cruise
Dr.
would shoot
Rigetti.
you down, dude,
Yeah.
if you're not careful. He fucking shot down 3 of them in combat. What?
So I got
Where
my
do you even get parts for that?
I don't know.
Like, oh, yeah, my fucking MIG's broken. I gotta go to AutoZone. Get a fucking.
You bring the
flux
battery in with
capacitor.
you. You got one of these? I took a picture of it.
You've got the MIG ports. I mean, Rigetti's got to be doing good. There's no way that you're just doing okay and you own a Russian MiG.
Yeah, he was the radiologist in like.
By the way, wait, did he die in the Russian MiG?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
I mean,
it was sad at the time, but
very sad, but
pretty cool way to go. I mean, someone at the funeral was like, pretty cool.
he's
Like, died in a Russian MiG.
he had a badass life. Let's put it that way. Like, he had a pet alligator. It's the first wet bike I've ever seen. Him and my dad used to fly ultralights and gliders.
Those are very dangerous.
And all kinds
People
of
are
cool
dying
shit.
in ultralights left and right, I remember.
Well, I asked my dad recently. I go, Dad, because he used to take me out when I was a little kid all the time. I go, Dad, are those things dangerous? And he told me, I just asked him last week. He was like, nah, those are pretty safe. And I was like, all
I
right.
just remember people dying all because there's tons of those in Florida because people bring them out to the beach.
People probably died with them because in Miami you can get a hold of anything, so they probably weren't qualified to fly them. They were just like because they look like something.
Just
that
the
you
name
should-
is called ultralight. It's a I don't know if people know. It's a fucking plane made out of paper, basically.
It's a kite with a
with a fucking propeller on it. And then if the wind just gusted, you'd be like nosediving into the fucking earth.
it's a kite with an oscillating fan on the back of it.
Yeah, it was just like
A weed whack injury. You remember Go-Peds? It was that with wings. It's exactly what it was.
Jesus. All right. Well, you and I grew up differently. I used to have to put kerosene in a heater because we didn't have heat. You're fucking flying around in MiGs.
Yeah.
Did you fly in the MiG?
No, and I don't think I ever flew in.
Dude, nobody at that funeral was like, pretty fucking cool. Fucking died in a MiG.
Anyone who knew Dr. Rigetti knew that he was cool.
Died in a MiG. I mean, that's the way to go out, you know? Like, if like years later, you're like, hey, what's up with your dad? Oh, my dad died. Oh, shit, how? Like, fucking crashed in a fighter jet.
He was driving him. He was flying
in
a
the war? Nah.
flying a MiG recreationally.
he was going to fight Ukraine
Yeah. So
in a MiG.
I've thought about it. I've thought about going over to the airport here and being like, because it never goes away. You have to get like recertified. The lady who did
What are
my
you going to do at the airport? Oh, by the way, you know what?
go over and get up current with. All you got to do is pass the test ride.
Do you know what people do at the airport? One time, so I've flown private, I don't know, a handful of times with Jim. We usually fly commercial, but there's been some times we've flown private.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. The coolest thing about it is there's no security. You just walk on the plane. You don't have to deal with any people. That's
It's the best.
The coolest thing is you can deal with any
PJs
people.
are
You
the
just-
best.
You just walk on and you're like, all right. And but one of the second time we did it, we were just flying to Vegas. And it's usually a short flight because they're super expensive. But we're flying to Vegas. And this woman just rolls up. It's me and Jim and a couple other people. We're walking into I think it was Van Nuys airport or something. We're walking in, and this woman just rolls up in a BMW, and she goes, hey, where are you guys going? And we're like, what? We're going to Las Vegas. Do you mind if I jump on the plane with you? And we're like, what the fuck? No, you can't jump on the... All right, cool. Just thought I'd check, whatever. And then we get in there, and the guy that like had arranged the flight, and we told him about it, and he goes, oh, yeah, there's people that do that. They just hang out in the parking lot, and then they just ask people if they can jump on the plane, and people just let them. We're like, that's a thing?
I mean...
So... Hey, out there.
You're not paying by person. So.
Life hack, people out there. Just hang out at a private airport and just, it helps to be a good looking woman, I would assume. You can't be like me and be like,
She's probably an influencer, and it's just super valuable for her to have like photos of her on a private jet going somewhere, you know?
She wasn't like, she was a woman. She was older. She wasn't ugly, but it wasn't like she was like some drop dead, but to be honest, if she was probably like some, you'd be like, yeah, sure, hop on. Get in.
So my dad,
look, if you're an attractive woman or man, go to a private airport and write to us. Call our line, 347-MERVERT. 347-MERVERT.
Yep.
And let us know if you got on a plane or not. You have to be attractive. Or funny. You have to have some sort of skill. I think funny, attractive, maybe you can juggle. That maybe you can do some in-flight entertainment. Maybe you can offer that would be good, you know? Not slam poetry. No one wants to hear that on a flight. But, like, if you could sing, play guitar, maybe comedy. I don't think comedy would work on a plane. If you could sing or play guitar, or you're good looking, try it.
or if you could clean Forrest's Airbnb.
Nah, I'll just pay you for that. I'll just pay you for that.
So
Zell.
my dad could fly helicopters, although he never did. And one time, Dr. Getty lived on the same lake as us. We lived on opposite sides of the same lake. And Dr. Getty was having a party, and my dad was like...
Who was on the other side? Richie Rich? Fucking Mark Zuckerberg?
Oh, there were some characters on this lake I grew up on. But my dad decided to...
I was hoping there was just like one plot on the other side of the lake where it was just like a trailer park. That'd be fun. Because the house I have in Davenport, it's the area that I have that house in Orlando. It's not like a super wealthy area, but the neighborhood I'm in, it's nice. It's just houses and stuff. It's nice. But there's a lake that my house backs up to. And on the other side, there is a trailer park. So, and you can go out on the boats and this lake and stuff. And I do believe on the other side, there's just this like very... very Florida trailer park.
Yeah.
Like that you could shoot a reality show there right now. You could pitch it to Netflix and they probably do it and stuff. And so.
Well, there's certainly more like on the lake I grew up on, there's about 100 plots of land. And there's certainly like more humble houses and giant mansions, just depending on who lives there and how long they've had it and whatever. But no trailers. After Hurricane Andrew, there were some trailers parked at people's houses, but that's just because they were fixing their houses. But anyways, so one time Dr. Getty was having a party at his house in the lake, and my dad decided to go rent a helicopter. And me, my mom, and my dad showed up. Mind you, we live a block away. We could have just walked to this house.
You guys got a hovercraft.
We came in on the helicopter, and we landed on the dock. And there was like 3 inches on each side of the helicopter that my dad had to put this on, and he did. He landed it square on the dock. Turned it off, hopped out, and was like, "Hey, thanks for inviting us to your party," and then just left the helicopter on the dock for the whole party. Just a power move, dude.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Does your dad still fly helicopters?
That was the only time in my entire life I ever saw my dad fly a helicopter. He's flown planes my whole life, but
wait a second.
He still flies planes to this day.
He just figured it out for one time?
No, I'm sure when he was younger, he got the ratings for it or whatever.
That's really hard, a helicopter.
Yeah, but then he was just like,
when I worked as a biologist,
no need to.
We had to do manatee counts, and we did them in helicopters. I might have mentioned this. We had to fly in helicopters to count manatees, and we would pay the cops, for their time and the use of the helicopter, and we'd fly with the Miami-Dade County police in their helicopters. And I would sit in the front seat, or somebody else would, and we would direct them around the whole county where we knew that manatees would be. And we would we'd map them out and stuff, and we'd do it like over 2 days. And I would talk to these guys about flying helicopters. I was in a lot of helicopters, and all of them would fly planes first and then helicopters. And they'd talk about how difficult it is to fly helicopters. So it's not even like a parallel. It's like another tier of a leap, according to them and stuff. So like, just to be able to do that, like, what is your dad?
Oh, my dad's a talented human being.
Yeah. Was he in the military?
No, he wanted to be.
He was in the A-team?
I think he had bone spurs or something like that.
Okay. Well, that's very tough.
My dad would have loved to have been in the Air Force. One time I asked him.
You could do manatee surveys. You could see if he wants to do that. They still need that.
When I was a kid, one time, I was probably a college kid and probably having a beer with my dad one day or something. And I asked him, because we never had deep conversations like this. And I said, "Dad, do you have any like regrets in life?" And the only thing he could come up with is he said, "I would have liked to flown jets in the Air Force." I was like, all right, I could have seen you being happy doing that.
I know where you can get a used MiG. Well, maybe not. It's probably wrecked.
Yeah.
Where did it hit, land or water?
Probably not something you'd be interested in. Since it's probably a little touchy.
Yeah. Does he listen to the podcast?
Doubtful.
Okay.
My mom probably does.
Oh, sorry. Should have wrapped that up. Edit that out.
Yeah, I was gonna make
and
another
the abortion thing.
I was gonna make another.
Well, let's talk about some water stuff.
Wait,
it's the Mermen podcast.
Yeah.
Talk about any
well,
water
listen to
stuff
this. Listen to this.
Third quarter.
I just saw a story about somebody crashing. I think it was a helicopter into the Tampa.
Why did you say it like that?
Because
it was a golf cart.
it was a helicopter. And it landed in the Tampa Bay, and Blaine Gabbert, the backup quarterback for Tampa Bay.
Is he still the backup quarterback?
Yeah. Him and his brother got on jet skis and went out and rescued the people.
Blaine Gabbert. First of all,
honorary merman.
Blaine Gabbert is the most country club name ever, right? Blaine Gabbert. Mm-hmm. Or like 80s villain, 90s villain. Yeah. Wait, so a helicopter crashed, and they had jet skis where? He was at his house?
Yeah, he was at his house.
And he saw the crash.
I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline.
Can we pull it up? You've got a phone there.
I think there was a press. I think I saw a little bit of the press conference. Let me see.
Okay, so he's the current backup to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought he was out of the league already.
Blaine Gabbert's like stuck around, dude. He's
backup quarterback is the
Buccaneers. You ain't lying. That's the best job in the world.
best job in like all of sports is backup quarterback because you're just chilling and you're making millions still because you're a quarterback. But
Buccaneers quarterback Blaine Gabbert and his brothers. So it's just a pack of Gabberts.
the Gabberts. What do you call a pack of Gabberts? Gabbeats.
Use
Gabbies.
jet skis to rescue four
A gaggle.
people
A gaggle of Gabberts.
after helicopter crashes into water.
Yeah.
4 people.
And they threw him on the jet skis?
Apparently. Oh, this is so dope. In his press conference about it, he's just wearing a sleeveless shirt.
That's like, and then a vest, safety vest. All
Being
right.
hailed a hero, it says.
Yeah, well, way to go, Gabbert. Finally did something. There was another thing where some people got rescued by actually mermaids. Did you see that?
That was just recent too, right?
Yeah, I have that. That is even more mermaid.
I vaguely remember hearing a faint noise. I just remember looking to the west and seeing it almost looked like a crew boat in the water that had broken up in about 4 pieces. And I vaguely remember seeing, like, how many beers do you think he was in? He's just out there riding jet skis, having a
the
good day.
Gabs?
And then he's like, we got to rescue some people.
The Gabs?
Yeah.
Here you go. This is Mermaids Rescue Scuba Diver in Distress in California.
Oh, that was out here?
Yeah, so I saw this title. I saw the article, and I thought it was either The Onion or it was like a fake news thing.
Are these people you know from your your online merman communities that you
No,
joined?
these are the 3 women here. I can send this to you.
And they were
Luis. There's 3 women wearing mermaid like
cute.
tails that we want to buy that we haven't bought yet that we keep talking about. We haven't done shit.
Please tell me they were wearing the tails. And
They are. They're wearing the tails. Yeah,
And they went out and rescued.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what else. So this is what I found this on. So there was Javier Claramont, his father, and their friend Pablo Avila were diving off Catalina Island, where you're gonna swim to this year, right?
Yep.
Okay. In California during the weekend, the 3 of them are well trained and experienced divers. However, at one point, Pablo lost consciousness, and his friends couldn't get him out of the water.
Oh,
so
boy.
he's scuba. And that is when, almost out of nowhere, a group of mermaids came to the rescue. As it turned out, an advanced PADI mermaid rescue course was happening nearby. So PADI, I don't know if you guys know, PADI is an acronym for, it's a scuba diving
Organization.
Yeah, it's either NAUI or PADI, as you get certified by. So
Yeah.
I guess there was a mermaid scuba diving, whatever. So Elena Marie Garcia, who is also an experienced scuba diver, runs the group out of Catalina. So when they saw Pablo in distress, they swam towards him. The woman got his gear off while giving him mouth-to-mouth and towed him back to shore. Paramedics took Pablo to the hospital, and he's doing much better.
The mermaids were giving him mouth to mouth?
Yes. We had seen the mermaids before starting our dive, Javier commented, and we were thinking how cute they were. Little did we know how well-trained they were really as well.
Little did I know Papa would be making out with
that's
one.
a picture of them there. See them with their tails?
Yeah.
Their tails right there, and then that's the guy with the scuba thing. So they swam over with the mermaid tails and rescued him and gave him mouth to mouth.
These mermaids are heroes.
Yeah. I mean,
They didn't even need jet skis like Blaine Gabbert.
there they are. There's the 3 of them. So
We need to do something for them.
I don't know. I'd like to see if Elena Maria Garcia has an Instagram. I don't know. See if you can find it here. I'm gonna send this story to you. What's your name over there? What's your
Me?
name?
Corner boy.
Dave W. Comedy.
Corner Boy. I like Corner Boy. Oh, you want it to? I already sent it to you, Dave.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
I sent this to you. I'm actually pulling this up from your Instagram chat that I have with you. You're like, this story's news to me.
Yeah.
I was drunk out flying.
Probably.
Our friend Lisa Crayo liked it too. I guess we're following the same things.
Okay.
It's global positive news.
I like it.
I don't even know if I follow them. Yeah, I guess I do. I want to follow global positive news.
Wow. So the guy, can you imagine that? You're just kind of out of it and whatever, and you wake up and these beautiful mermaids just rescued you?
One of them's kissing you.
Yeah. One of them's going,
Let me see. Elena.
breath smells like fish.
Elena, what's her name? Elena Marie Garcia. What do you want to do for her?
Oh, no. Good job, girls.
You want to mention her on the podcast? You now are less famous. I mean, known on the podcast. We can get Richard to call in for her. He can sleep on our couch.
Let's take him to Australia with us.
We got a couch you can sleep on in Australia. Here we go. I found her. She only has 441 followers.
All right, we'll plug her.
I'm following her right now.
All right.
Mermaid.Elena. Mermaid.Elaina.
All right, I'm gonna follow her too.
She's a Patty master scuba diver trainer, Patty Mermaid, and owner of the Catalina Island Mermaids.
Mermaid dot what?
Reserve firefighter and EMT, also crazy cat lady.
Hey, it's your soulmate. Or soulmate. Mermaid dot what?
Mermaid.Elena. See right there?
Elena.
Yeah, and then one of her first posts is the story. Recently, I sat for a short interview about the Acts of Impact podcast to talk about our in-water rescue. We could have her on the podcast.
Yeah, let's do
We
it.
should start having guests.
Owner of Catalina Island Mermaids.
I know what Luis is going to say already. We need to have people that are going to actually help push numbers. She's only got 441 followers.
443 now.
Fuck
'Cause I
that.
just
We're not
followed
going to
her.
have her. Yeah. Well, but she's just went around there. Yeah. Too bad you saved someone's life. We don't care. Here's some other suggest. As soon as you follow her, it's all these other mermaids that you're supposed to follow. Here's Mermaid.
Oh yeah.
El Jimenez.
Oh yeah, that one's popping up on mine.
She's got
also.
103,000 followers. Follow. All right, we have her on the podcast. All right.
Richie Lambert.
She didn't save anybody though. Celeste Meza Campos, followed by. All right.
Oh yeah, that one popped up on mine too.
All right. I just followed the Mermaid L. Well, anyways, good job. There you go. But we got to get those tails.
Yeah, let's.
We got
do
to
it.
start a GoFundMe for our tails. Will you guys
That's a good
contribute?
idea. That's a good idea, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
You think so?
I mean, look, we give this content out for free, and we're not making any money off it yet. So I think if we did
spending money.
We have fans, obviously, who
We have to pay
want
this
to
fucking
support.
guy in the corner. And on top of that, I bought him this fucking fruity drink today. It's coming out of my pocket.
I bought him one yesterday, dude.
How is that? What is that again?
Blended strawberry lemonade.
How is this one?
Pretty good.
Looked a little bit icy.
Actually,
this
not
one.
as good as yesterday.
Yeah, this one was a little. I noticed the one Dave got you yesterday was darker. This one, I think they got too much ice.
I felt so self-conscious ordering that. I was like, "Can I have a black coffee, please, and a what is it? A blended
You're such a dinosaur, bro.
blended lemonade."
You're very
Shirley Temple, and then I had to say for my wife. I had to say that to feel good about
You're
it.
very like it's tough for you to have any feminine side come out of you, huh?
Nah, I wouldn't say that.
What's the most feminine part of you?
I mean, I'm very empathetic.
You are? How? Give me an example.
I think that I'm very
You an ally to women?
sure, but I don't think that's what makes you
I just felt like saying that.
a man or not a man. Yeah. No, I'm not. I do have a little bit of meathead in me. But in
A
the
little bit.
Yeah, but in the
Join the conversation, everybody at home. Does Dave have a little bit of meathead in him? Call in 347-MERVERT. And does Dave have a little bit of meathead, a lot of meathead, or much meathead?
But I think
I mean in a good way. Look,
Yeah.
I've said this all the time. I'm friends with you. I'm not friends with like meatheads. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. I can't stand that at all. Like you have a good balance. I'm sure it's probably your wife that's helping with this balance.
yeah, my wife definitely has helped shape me as an adult for sure.
Yeah.
I think that I'm
And your kids.
Well, I was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was raised primarily by like my grandma and my mom and like strong women, you know. But
Your dad, he's landing helicopters on
yeah, no,
docks.
no. Well, my dad, you know,
Yeah, I got you though. I met your mom. Your mom's a very strong.
yeah. My mom was the fucking boss.
Yeah.
So, no, I think that I have all the better attributes of a meathead, where it's just like, you know, yeah, like you said, I'm a little bit of a Neanderthal. I like meat, and I like sports, and I like wrestling. I like IPAs, and I'm like, bro, let's bro out.
Black coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah. What's matcha?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I also do think that I'm very like open-minded and, like I said, empathetic and sensitive to other people's feelings and thoughts. and
I okay.
progressive and all that kind of stuff.
I just wanted you to say it. I feel like it's therapy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud.
I'm
of
like the opposite of you because I was just raised only by my mom. So it's like people look at me and they're like, "Look at this fucking tub of lard over here, this fucking big fucking luggable bear. He's gonna be." And then I'm just like, "Hey."
Excuse me, I'm late for a march.
I don't do march. That's too many people. I don't like people.
PayPal.
But I do my own laundry. I'm an ally. Hey, so Miami. We haven't talked anything about Miami recently either, too. There was a thing that I saw online too, where I think I saw it on Only on Dade, which is a great follow. I don't know if we've ever mentioned
Yeah,
them.
that's great. I went to the Miami Heat game last night. They played the Clippers, and there were a ton of Heat fans there. There's a lot of Miami.
I think
folk.
people like Miami in general because people either love or hate Miami, and people always talk shit. Like sometimes people that think they're too cool for school hate Miami. Like
too cool for school.
They go there and they're like, it's fucking cool in Miami. It's just like it's superficial, and it's like, man, the same thing about LA. When I moved here, people were like, yeah, it seems like everyone's fake out there or whatever, and just like I just couldn't be out there. And I was like, yeah, well, there's a section of town where everyone speaks Chinese too. I don't hang out there. I hang out with about 10 people, so it's like Chinatown's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I'm just saying you don't have to hang out with the fake people. There's like 11 million people here. You know
The way you said it was a little racist.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Edit that out at least. But was it racist?
Well, in a vacuum, if someone just heard that clip where you're like, there's a part of town where there's a lot of Chinese people. I don't hang out there.
I said where they speak Chinese. I didn't say what it was.
Exactly how a racist would say it.
Well, you know, what are you going to do? So they're in Miami, you know, in Florida, there's always crazy shit and stuff happening.
Yeah.
And,
What'd you find?
there was something, I think this was actually in Broward, and there was like some sort of council.
I know what you're talking about.
Or some sort of meeting for budgetary reasons, and they wanted to do some sort of waste management thing or something. And these people showed up. These people showed up, and they wanted to make their voice heard on how they felt about how this money was being spent. And they were all dressed like the Gimp in Pulp Fiction, you know, kind of
head to
S&M
toe
kind of thing.
leather dominatrix gear.
Yeah, but they kind of looked like they had like masks and stuff on. It was all women. Here's what they said. Here, go ahead and play in here. Ready? Here.
I do, however, find it interesting that you will spend almost $1 million to hide your secrets down the drain. Hiding that condom I know you used to cheat on your spouse with. So, I propose that you use a quarter of that mill to support doms and subs in Broward County to build a dungeon created for us by us, the taxpayers and voting citizens.
Put it right next to the public park.
In closing,
In closing.
do not let this glamorous look distract you from doing your duty to take my demand. I look forward to spanking each and every single one of you at the new esteemed dungeon. You are dismissed.
Okay, thank you.
These women, I'll send you the video too, Luis. Those women there's two of them standing behind that woman that's speaking, and they're just standing there too. And then
they're the Gimps or whatever.
yeah, it's fucking awesome. But
Well, is this Chad and JT's fault? Does everyone realize that they have to let you talk?
Does everybody know Chad and JT are? I mean, I know they are, but
I mean, no one's gonna ever do it better than they did it.
Chad and JT are the comedians.
Yeah.
And they started going to
Huntington Beach
city council
meetings
down here and like fighting for rights for house parties and a Paul Walker statue.
Yeah.
And it's
A
if you don't know who
public
they are,
yacht.
if you don't know who they are, look them up. They have a Netflix show now too.
Yeah.
Called Chad and JT.
Go Deep or something.
Go Deep, yeah, or something like that. If you look it up, and it's very funny. It's like a 7 episode or something. It's funny, or an episode, and where I think their goal is to go to Vegas, and that DJ Zed, they're gonna give like a speech, like at when he's DJing or something, and then they have a misunderstanding. But anyways, they kept going to all these city council meetings, and they're like, city council, you know, they're like
the funniest.
We got to fight for house parties. But they're fucking hilarious, man. They're so fucking.
The funniest part is that every time when Chad finishes, like sometimes they'll let him finish, sometimes they're like, okay, that's enough, and he leaves, and then it's like, oh, you think it's over, and then it immediately is like, city council. I'm JT Paul. It just like doubles down, you know?
Yeah, they're back to back. Do you know these guys, Luis? JT? We could play them too, but I don't know. I'd have to find out. But anyways, they're hilarious, Chad and JT, and goes deep in though. But that's kind of what it reminded me of. But I think they're being funny, but they also are like, I don't think they're comedians.
These people?
Yeah, you think so?
No. They're I mean, obviously looking for attention, but they're probably also somewhat serious. I love how her brain thinks there's a connection between, well, if you're giving $1 million to a landfill and waste management, then apparently, you're definitely doing it just to hide your dirty secrets. And so just take a quarter of that, which is only $250,000, and make a dungeon for a dominatrix. Like that's all,
Yeah, we have a guy that likes to use his face as a toilet. So you don't even need that money for the landfill.
Yeah.
You just have him shit on his face. It's money saved. Yeah, which I just pulled that from an episode we did on, I don't know about
not
that.
the smartest people.
Where there was a guy that used his face as a toilet. Remember that, Louise? That tour? Yeah. Who could forget? But, those city council things, when you're like a politician on your way up and stuff, and you want to become like a congressman or a senator or something like that, I guess that's like your first step is to become like a city council person.
The city council in my little town is like all people I hang out with, and I coach their kids and have beers with them.
I would say 75% of their job is dealing with shit like that.
Yeah.
Like no one comes to those council. It's like that shit, or someone comes there and they're like, yeah, we need to put a speed bump in on my street because people are speeding through and I have to stand up there. Like, there's that shit. And
I've had to sit through the meetings before. It's all that. It's coyotes and stop signs and
then that, like some crazy people.
And the mayor is corrupt and they're going to prove it. And it's like, he coached my kid in soccer. He's fine. Relax.
Well, he's probably corrupt. I think most of them are corrupt.
They're all corrupt.
I mean, why else would you get in politics? Why would you get in politics if you're not going to be corrupt?
Because you want to be, you want to service your community. You want to have the ability. What?
Who wants to do that?
Me.
You do?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? You want to? We've talked about this. I think you could be mayor of El Segundo.
I should. You're right.
But I
wouldn't be doing it to be corrupt.
What do you want to do?
I mean, maybe I would pass some legislation that would help my comedy festival be a little cooler.
Yeah, you'd pass some legislation to ease the installation of front yard smokers. Yeah. Be like, what's the problem?
But everyone wants that.
I don't know. I feel like most politicians are corrupt. What percent? There's another plane. What's going on today?
I mean, LAX right now.
I know, but this is why we got to go to the city council. And I'm gonna be like,
when's the next meeting? Can you look that up? Where are we? Inglewood?
You guys have to show up in the mermaid tails, though.
We gotta get him. Gonna start a GoFundMe. So you do you think you will run for some sort of?
I will bet at some point in my life I run for city council or something like that.
Okay. Is this episode terrible for me? I said something racist about Chinese people. Something about abortions.
I just want to clarify that the thing with Forrest's abortion was he was in high school. This wasn't a recent thing.
Was I?
Yeah.
I don't even remember the podcast.
That's what you told me.
I don't remember the abortion. I mean, look, there's people having abortions out there. I just want you to know. Not enough, in my opinion.
Oh boy.
Look, we just reached 8 billion people on this planet. That's all I'm saying. It's a lot. I'm saying.
Why do you hit this? Why do you hit this hornet's nest at the end of the episode?
Just saying. To be continued.
There's a lot to unravel.
Just to be continued.
Fourth quarter.
Where are we at on time, Luis? We fourth quarter?
Yeah, we're at about 50 minutes.
Do you want to play the new voicemail?
Oh, we got a voicemail.
Here we go.
Hello, this is the Naughty Mermaid. I was just calling to wish you a happy new year, and I was curious if you had any recommendations on some great dive sites around the Florida coast. So if you could fill me in, that would be great. All right. Sleep well. Dream naughty.
Wait, so the Naughty Mermaid had sent in a text.
Yeah,
before, right?
so now we can confirm it's actually a woman. So someone.
I like how she's got a character.
Is this the person that you met at the show?
I think so.
It sounds like her.
I think it's like Lady in Tampa. And
So-
she called in, and we didn't even air the episode.
I know. Thank you. Thanks for calling in. A woman. It's amazing. Dive sites around Florida. Well, you got to go the further south you go, the better, because as you know or don't.
Tampa
know,
Bay, the visibility is terrible.
Well,
on the inside.
but coral reefs in general, they start to dissipate as you get further north because the subtropical water, everything. And so the reef relief, which is like, the height off the ground, for people that don't know, I don't know, I'm just trying to explain shit. So the better reefs are further south, so Florida Keys is where you'd want as all your best diving in Florida. There was a reef where I got certified on called Lou Key. And it's off of Big Pine Key in the Florida Keys, and it was beautiful. Now, I know that a research vessel ran aground there some years ago and maybe fucked it up, so I don't know what kind of damage it did or didn't do. But at the time, it had really great diving there, and it wasn't super deep either. So you weren't like, you could spend a lot of time down there too. It was like 30 to 50 feet deep, so you could really log some minutes down there instead of going like really deep and having to come back up quickly. So that was a good place, but I don't know what it looks like anywhere.
Well, the other thing about the Keys is there's some pretty cool wrecks that you can dive on also.
Wrecks are cool too, yeah. There's that really big one. What the fuck is the name? I haven't dove in so long in the Keys. There's a giant wreck in like Key Largo. You don't know the names of them?
I don't remember.
The other cool thing about Lou Key, why I looked this up, is they used to have a thing too, and I don't know if they have it anymore, where they would put underwater speakers in there once a year, and they would play like classical music. And they'd pump it through the reef.
The Jaws theme?
No, they would like so you could dive and like listen to music and stuff. They would do it like once a year.
That sounds important.
Just saying it's cool. I'm not saying it's
they're playing Little Mermaid songs.
No, it was like Bach or something like that. And then on the way out there, it's right near where Spiegel Grove. That's the wreck I'm thinking of. But on the way out there, too, you pass this one island where they shot like P-152, this movie about John F. Kennedy. The Spiegel Grove wreck is probably the most famous or most infamous dive site located within the Florida Keys Shipwreck Trail. It's a really big dive. It's a huge boat or ship that they sunk. I don't know why it says infamous, because this is how out of it I'm with the diving community. But I think it's in 144. Yeah, the stern's in 144 feet of water, so that's really deep. But then I think part of it is in 62 feet. So you can get to the one part of it in 62 feet, but if you go all the way to 144, you're not going to be down there that long. So that's probably pretty cool, too. It's been down there a long time.
Listen, call up my dad, hitch a ride on his airplane to the Bahamas.
Get on the helicopter.
You're going to get a lot cooler dives in the Bahamas than you are anywhere off the coast of Florida, but there is some cool diving around Florida.
I tell you what, hook up with this woman on Instagram that we said earlier.
I thought you said she's in California.
I know, but she's a mermaid. This is a naughty mermaid. She's a patty mermaid diver.
Cool.
So just, whatever. She's going to have
I got certified, scuba certified when I was like 14 years old. And I think you were supposed to be 16. And I was like, well, then.
White privilege.
Yeah, basically, I was just like, well, do I have to wait 2 years? They're like, nah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
You're flying in a Meg.
We'll just push that paperwork through. There was a guy, God, I wish I could remember his name. There was this dude who did all the certifications for, like, my cousin when he got, like, he did ours and then my cousin, whatever. And he had some sort of the bad air or something. And he lived in a van, and there's cockroaches just coming out of his rusted van. I think he had bad air one time when he shook tank. Like this
in his tank.
Yeah, he shook like this.
Oh, he had bad air that made him shake the rest of his life.
Yeah, I just think he was an unhealthy person.
Okay,
but he was
just Parkinson's.
What the fuck was that guy's name?
You're saying something happened to him in a diving accident that caused him to shake the rest of his life?
I mean, that was our theory.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you don't have any information today at all. You're just saying things.
That's how I live my life.
The Blaine Gabbert thing, you're like, I don't know. Just read an article, read a fucking title. Yeah. Are you calling somebody?
Yeah, I feel like you had a funny name.
I think that podcast is over. You're already calling someone? Who are you calling?
My cousin. My cousin, I was already certified. I was a little older. My cousin was like 16 or something. Yeah. And it literally took him 4 times taking the written test to pass it. And the guy just... Well,
that's par for the course of this podcast. No one picks up when you call. Yeah. Noticed.
So
take that as a hint. He's not going to pick up. You call him again?
No.
Call Cuban. Hey, who did I know when I was younger? I almost ran out of. I did run out of air at about like 90 feet.
Oh, those are scary stories.
Because I borrowed somebody's equipment. Don't ever do that when you're scuba diving. Know the equipment you're using.
Yeah.
And the pressure gauge was not working correctly. Somebody calling you back?
No.
Yeah. Anyways, I was diving with my buddy JJ and JJ Miranda, and then another friend I don't remember of his, and they were up ahead of me, and I kept looking at the pressure gauge, and it looks like I had like 1,200 pounds left, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I started to have to suck in air. I was sucking in air, and I was like, this is getting really hard to suck in the air. And then I was like, there's no air coming in here. And they were about 15 feet, 10 feet in front of me. And if you're diving, you're supposed to go back. You're supposed to look at the people you're diving with every once in a while. They were not doing that. And I was trying to swim after them, but I had no air. And so I was trying to keep
and then you got to stay calm, otherwise you suck up the remaining air you have.
Correct. And I kept swimming and swimming, and I was swimming, and then I had no air. So then I was just holding my breath, which you're not supposed to do. So I'm blowing up bubbles. And there was a thing on the ground. It was a lobster tickler stick that someone had dropped years ago or whatever. It's like a long little flexible stick. You know what it is?
Yeah.
And I picked
Tickle
that
stick.
Yeah, I picked that up. I saw it, and I picked it, and I was able to hit one of them on the ankle.
On the ankle?
On the ankle. And he turned around. He's like, what? And I just swam towards him, and I grabbed. There's a second stage. There's another breathing apparatus for people that you can grab. There's usually another regulator. And I just grabbed and I started sucking air. And they're like, what the fuck? And I go, I don't know. I looked at my regulator, and we went up. We turned off my tank and then turned it back on. It was like 0. Like, because it was broken. No, somebody else's equipment. Wouldn't have been here today. Wouldn't have been doing this fine podcast.
Man.
You should rate 5 stars. Rate and review, everybody.
Rate, review it, subscribe, share it. What you got coming up for us? Let me grab my calendar so I can plug it in.
An abortion next week.
Jesus.
I'm in Vegas now. Right now, as we're doing this. So if you're in Vegas this week, or you're going to be there until the 15th, come out to a show. I'll be here. I'll still be in Vegas till the 15th at the Comedy Cellar, at the Rio Hotel. And then after that, I got some other dates here and there around LA. I'll be on the road with Jim a little bit. So look up on forrestshaw.net and bliggity blah, 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 blah. Sneeze.
Boom.
What do you got coming up here?
I'm going to be in LA most of January, so check out Dave W. Comedy to see what shows I'm doing around town. Be in Long Beach. I'm going to be in the West Side.
Last week.
Which one?
Common Space Brewery.
Oh, you did it last week?
Yeah. Well, technically tomorrow.
Oh. I was so confused. I thought you were doing it tomorrow.
It went great.
All right, cool. Thanks for doing that, man.
Yeah.
That's the first Wednesday of every month in Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Let me think. I think in February, Super Bowl weekend, I'm going to be in Tempe, Arizona with Bert and Shane and Mark Norman.
You're going to be in Arizona for Super Bowl weekend?
Yeah.
That's where the Super Bowl is.
It's what I know. That's why I'm saying it's Super Bowl weekend.
What are you guys doing? You're doing shows there?
Yeah.
On Super Bowl weekend. And you know what else is there? Is the golf tournament, the Phoenix Waste Invitational Open, Waste. What the fuck is that called? The one with the fucking hole-in-one with a stadium surrounding the whole 16 and stuff. The golf tournament.
They should take.
That's the same weekend as the Super Bowl in Phoenix. Yeah.
They should take $250,000 from that and just make a dominatrix then.
Yeah. Okay.
Waste management.
Waste management invitation. That's what it's called. But that's going to be a fun weekend. I'm going to be in Vegas that weekend too with Jim. Anyways, if you guys want to come back out to Vegas, it's going to be in Vegas permanently. That's where I live.
I think. So I think I'm doing that weekend, Super Bowl. They haven't sent me the official offer yet. I'm going to be in Calgary on the last weekend of March. Come out and see me there. I'm going to be in Grand Rapids in August. You got a lot of time to get ready for that.
Yep. Gear up.
Yep. That's it.
Is this your new notebook?
Yeah.
Can't wait till you lose this.
Almost did once already.
What are these extra papers in there?
It was my temporary. This is my to-do lists.
Oh yeah.
And then this was my temporary calendar.
What is all this shit?
This was my December when I lost my calendar. I had to
come
print
on.
one out.
I know, but this is ridiculous. Just put it on your phone.
I can't, dude. I don't know how to do that. Here's my credit card debt.
They have an app for that. I know how much credit card debt I have. I just open up the credit card app. I'm like, oh shit, that's how much.
What if I lose?
American Express.
What if I lose my phone though, Forrest?
Put it in the cloud. You won't lose it.
I've been in the clouds, so though.
Yeah, that's where you lost your last notebook. Boom.
I'm gonna go get my pilot's license.
All right, bye.
For they are the mermaids.